Hello everyone, this is a presentation on the film Paris is Burning by Esteban Blanco and Daisy Felix. A little introduction on the film before we get started. The film was directed by Jenny Livingston and was released in 1991. Filmed in the late 1980s in New York, the film focuses on the underground ballroom scene of the 1980s that thrived throughout impoverished, minority, and LGBTQ communities in New York. The film also explores subjects such as racism, homophobia, AIDS, sexuality, and poverty in the drag community. Dance as a socio-political voice and social unifier. Throughout time, humans have used many different forms of art to express themselves. Paris is Burning is an excellent demonstration of just how dance can be used as a channel for oppressed individuals to rise together in unity to battle the injustices and the hardships that they are faced with. Social outcast. LGBTQ rights didn't exist during this time like they do today. This was an era when homophobia was rampant, and the general public viewed anything other than being heterosexual as completely socially unacceptable. As a result, homosexual and transgender individuals were severely discriminated against in many ways, including through violence. Because of this, they were always in search of a true home where they could be loved and accepted for themselves. This is a quote by Pepe LaBeija, the founding mother of House of LaBeija, which was one of the more prominent ballroom houses throughout all of the ballroom circuit. When someone has rejection from their mother and father, their family, when they get out into the world, they search. They search for someone to fill that void. The ballroom community. As a result, an underground community arose in 1980 New York that would provide a safe haven for homosexuals as well as all other sexual orientations, genders, and races. The community that emerged loved to indulge itself in elaborately staged ballroom competitions in which contestants challenged each other by walking and dancing, much like a traditional fashion show. Contestants would participate in several different types of categories. They were mainly judged on the authenticity of their dance routine, the beauty of their clothing, and their dancing ability. The dance performed by contestants was called voguing, a reference to the iconic runway shows that are hosted by Vogue magazine. Everyone aspired to be just like those models, and the dance was an emulation of them and the magnificent shows that they performed in. Here we have a couple examples of what a ballroom competition looked like. On the upper left, we have one of the many categories that were involved or included in these competitions. This one in particular being the executive category, in which contestants would dress up as executives or CEOs of companies in order to protest that, because most of those jobs were held by heterosexual white males. So the people in these ballroom communities, they would never really be able to get those jobs. So this was their place where they could pretend and fantasize like that they were those executives, that they were those CEOs, and this for them was was fun. On the bottom left, we have a ball and some people in their costumes, and what a couple costumes might look like depending on their categories. On the top right, we have a still from the film Paris is Burning, which depicts some ballroom contestants just having fun, being happy, having a good time. It looks like they feel like they're at home. So, that's good. That's what they wanted. So I'm happy for them. And then on the bottom right, we have Venus Extravaganza, who was a key member of the House of Extravaganza, which was also one of the more prominent ballroom houses throughout the ballroom circuit. Dance as a socio-political voice and social unifier. Whether they were aware of it or not, the ballroom dance queens of the time were sending a very powerful message to the world that ultimately paved the way for modern-day LGBTQ rights. Their bold actions indicated that they did not care what society thought of them. They would always stay true to their beliefs, even if everyone else thought they were wrong for it, because deep down they knew that they were being treated unjustly. The individuals of the ballroom circuit had done something that no one in the LGBTQ community was ever really brave enough to do before, which was embrace their true identities. Furthermore, the actions of the circuit defied traditional gender norms, thus forever inspiring future generations of homosexual and transgender individuals to love and accept themselves despite no one else wanting to. Finally, the ballroom culture was an exclamation to the world that they would never back down. Many people were also unified through dance and the ballroom community. As I've repeatedly stated through this presentation, society was not tolerant of homosexual and transgender persons during this period in time. In fact, it seemed as if everyone had inspired a deeply rooted hate for anyone and everyone who was not strictly heterosexual. The discrimination was so bad that some young men were even kicked out of their homes by their own parents. No one loved them, and they had no family. So what did they do? They found refuge in various houses. Many of these individuals also came from broken homes or just didn't have a home at all. The ballroom houses became their homes and brought all of these people together as a family. Excuse me. I feel the ones who built the strongest bonds with each other were AIDS victims, because when someone is diagnosed with a potentially fatal disease, your whole outlook and your whole appreciation for life changes. Their families had disowned them, so they had no one to comfort them in the face of death. Ultimately, the balls provided a place where they could cope with the life-threatening disease along others who were going through the exact same thing. In summary, we live in a patriarchal society where being a cisgender, heterosexual male is the norm, and any person that is of a different gender, sexuality, or race will be discriminated against. The LGBTQ community is an eternal family that supports and takes care of its people in hopes of eventually being able to live free of discrimination. This is why the ball circuit was founded and still exists to this day. The events depicted in Paris's Burning will go down in history as a major spark that ignited the fuse to LGBTQ rights. Everyone in the ballroom community is free to identify themselves as whoever they want to be without the fear of being unsafe, harassed, or neglected. It is difficult for LGBT individuals to live freely in a world that rejects them simply for being a little different. Because in reality, aren't we all a little different? Who cares what color you are, or how you identify, or who you're attracted to? We are all humans. We must love each other, not hate, so we can strive and prosper together. The ball culture is forever a symbol of human love, compassion, and unity. Thank you for watching.